Hey guys, this is John by himself today. Noah can't make it today. He has some work commitments this week, so he's not going to be able to do it. So you're going to have to deal with me. I'm not 100% sure if this is going to be published because Noah may just, nix the idea. He doesn't even know that I'm doing this by myself, but we're going to give it a whirl. So instead of the dynamic duo today, you're just getting dynamic, and that's me by myself. So a lot of this stuff I'm going to read. I'm going to miss Noah's perspective on it, but that's all right. We'll muddle through it. Uh, the show introduction. Hello and welcome to Card Shop Insiders, a podcast where we combine decades of experience from both sides of the counter to take you inside the business of local game stores and collectible gaming hobbies. Noah's usually there, and he says, I'm Noah, and I play games, lots of them. And then it's my turn, and I said, I'm John. I'm a card shop owner. I'm a 26-year veteran of the industry now. So, with our combined perspective, which is not going to be the case today, it's my perspective, we're ready to take you, or I'm ready to take you inside of the podcast. So, let's jump in. All right, so let's start talking about news and updates. Let's get to Star Wars first because that's first on my list. There's a restock of the Shadows of the Galaxy that's due this week. I was allocated 12 more boxes, which is great. However, I think this is the last shipment until the holiday season, and this may be the entire shipment until set three comes out. Again, that's subject to change, but that's from what I heard from my distributor this morning. So I've got 12 more boxes coming in. So I have enough to keep me going for the end of the until the end of the year, the way I allocate it out and dole it out for, tournament prizes or weekly play or whatever I decide I'm going to do. All right, so that's what's going to happen with Star Wars right now. Lorcana still doing well on the local front. A lot of customers are just collectors, but we do have some players that come in and they like the mechanics of the game. And that's important because I think you need uh, both venues in order for it to do well. Collectors, again, collectors just collect. I have one customer called Dizzy Lizzie. She collects, but she's starting to play again, which is good. So we'll see how it works. Uh, I mentioned last week Ravensburger will send more information about the store championship for Shimmering Skies. Supposedly, we're going to get this information on September 3rd. Uh, Again, we have until September 20th to schedule the event on Melee. And it looks like right now it could be any Saturday or Sunday in October. And that's what they uh, recommend, or not recommend, but that's what they demand. So we're going to be doing it. I just have to find a date that's conducive to everybody that wants to come in and play. I also found out that Ravensburger has added two additional distributors to their approved list of vendors. Right now, they have Peach State, they have um, Alliance Games, and they have Southern Hobby. But they've also added ACD distribution, which I think is out of Wisconsin. I had an account with them a long time ago, but I didn't order a lot from them. Uh, so, my account still may be active. I don't know, but it doesn't make any difference. However, the biggest one that they announced was GTS, which has multiple locations throughout the United States. And I've voiced my opinion about GTS. I think they supply the internet vendors, quite a bit of product. Uh, I don't know. I can't sustain or substantiate that, but that's just my guess, and that's what I've heard. So take it with a grain of salt. It's an old man's opinion. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But they are getting more distribution out of it, and uh, my favorite is Southern Hobby, no doubt about it. They've been very upfront with me, and I'm very pleased with them, and I've been dealing with them for years. I also found out this morning that I'm going to be getting some Shimmering Skies deck boxes. They've come out with two of them. However, one's not available yet, so they still have some distribution issues on their point getting it to the distributor. I think the one that's coming in is Aladdin, but I'm almost positive it's Aladdin. The other one's going to be within a week or two, I guess. All right, let's move on to One Piece. I'm starting to get more product available to me. I guess that my ranting and raving on the Bandai questionnaire helped because uh, I keep getting emails from Alliance Games that, hey, you got product sitting in your order queue. Do you want it? So forth and so on. And I noticed that the Treasure Cup event for One Piece, which is scheduled to be held on Saturday afternoon, the 7th of September at 3 o'clock, the kit was available. Plus, they added a couple of different boxes. Let me see what they've added. Let me take my time here. All right, they put four more boxes of One Piece Awakening of the New Era booster. That's OP5. And they're also giving me one more box of Wings of the Captain booster, which is OP6. So, I mean, that's good. So at least I'm starting to get product, and hopefully we can sustain that. I just hit the computer, so that's why it shook a little bit, but that's all right. We'll get through it. And if you don't like it, turn it off. But I know some of you are listening on Spotify, so it doesn't make any difference. But those of you that get onto um, as far as YouTube, you're going to see a little bit of shaking once in a while because I hit the damn computer sometimes by accident. It's the Italian in me. The hands keep going and I slap it. Uh, let's get to Magic. Magic continues to do very, very well. And we're talking about Bloomsboro. Friday night draft participants can continue to exceed the numbers I normally have drafting by about 50% more. I usually get 12 to 13, maybe 14 on a Friday night, but I've been getting well over 20 in the 22, 23 range. And that's not including that everybody that has come into store to play. There's some people that are on vacation still and they haven't been available to play, but that number could easily be 30 people. So I'm very pleased with Bloomborough. However, there's not a restock right now. With the only thing that's available is play boosters from Southern Hobby. Again, that's my primary distributor. I was able to pick up a box to put onto my order with Alliance Games along with the One Piece. So I wouldn't have to pay shipping, and I got a box of Commander collectors. So not Commander collectors, but collectors packs. And the Commander decks, forget, I can't get any right now. However, Southern Hobby said there may be some coming in down the pike. I don't know. I'll just have to wait and see. Yu-Gi-Oh! As of this morning, I don't know. I mean, the players are waiting for a new banned and restricted list to drop. Supposedly, it's going to drop by the end of the month. It could have dropped today. It's Monday. It's the last Monday in the month. I think next Sunday is the last day of the month. That's the 31st. So hopefully, the banned and restricted list will drop and players will adapt their decks accordingly. And we'll see. People will start coming back into play. Now, getting to Yu-Gi-Oh, I've had a lot of people ask me, when are the tins available? I believe. Let me see. I put in the tins. The 25th anniversary tin called Dueling Mirrors are due September 20th. So they're imminent. I mean, but people keep asking when are they coming in. So September 20th is the date. And the new set is Rage of the Abyss. That's the core booster. And that's due October 11th, which means the premiere or the pre release that it used to be called will be the week before. So we'll do it again on Saturdays and Sunday, both days. All right, so that takes care of Yu Gi Oh! One other thing, we started doing a game called Union Arena the other day, and we had a quote unquote pre release for it. However, I got some people that came in that just wanted to buy the product. They couldn't stay to play and so forth and so on. So I sold the decks. There's two decks involved, Numbers Hunter or something like that, and Bleach. Or I think it's Numbers Hunter. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's one of them. Hunter X Hunter. That's what it is. Uh, so I did sell a lot of decks, and what I'm going to do is save the pre-release kit, and we're going to run a tournament at that time. I did have somebody come in and say, "Hey, look, since I'm the only one here, do I get the winner promo card?" I said, "No, you're not getting the winner promo card. I'm going to wait until I get more people involved in it, and then we'll run a tournament for it. And that's if you win it, fine. But I can guarantee that I'm not going to give it to anybody else. If you're the only one that shows up that day, fine, you'll get the damn winner card. But you know, uh, it is what it is. You always got people trying to look out for number one, but I have to look out for everybody that comes into the store. All right, now, since I don't really have an in-depth perspective into all the products that are coming out, Noah's usually pretty good at that. What I'm going to do is talk about my main topic for today. And before I continue this, guys, look, we're soliciting information from you. If you're on uh, YouTube, put a description or put a question in there. Hey, John or Noah, I'd like to get more in-depth information about this or about that. It helps us plan what we want to talk about and explain, and we want to give you the information that you guys need, not what we think you need. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so today I'm going to talk about stocking the store with snacks and drinks. Now, that's about maybe 5% of my, maybe 5 or 6% of my sales come from snacks and drinks. And over the years, I've had to refine that because some snacks do well, some drinks do well. And a number of times I got stuck with product that went out of date. And I don't want to do that continually. So, what I do is I really listen to my customer base. Hey, can you get this? Can you get that? But if it's only one or two people asking if I can get this or can I get that, I'm not going to bring it in because it's just a waste. I know that stuff is good after the expiration date, not too far good, that I'm going to let it go, but a couple of weeks isn't going to kill it. But a lot of people look at the expiration date. Oh, this is past expiration date. Can you discount it? No, I'd rather throw the damn thing away than discount it because some of the people are just pain in the necks when there is a better dated product right behind it. And I mentioned that to them. Well, no, I want this. Oh, yeah, right. Forget it. We're not going to do that. Uh, the cleanliness of the store is really should be a consideration of the kind of snacks that you carry. Uh, if you have a carpet, you have to watch with drinks that have red dye in it because if the drinks fall on the floor, you're going to have that red dye stain forever. It's not going to come out. And unfortunately, in this store, I have carpet on the floor, and I'm not going to change it because I leased this, and God only knows how long I'll be here in this business because the building's old. The owners have been talking about selling it in the future. They've sold some other property, so I'm not going to invest in putting a new floor down. If I did put a new floor down, it would probably be ripping up the carpet, taking the existing concrete floor and repairing the cracks and whatever else is under there and then having it sealed so it's easy to clean, easy to mop up. And unfortunately it's not right now, but it's been that way since I moved in here, so I'm just going to deal with it the best I can. Now, when I mentioned cleanliness of the store, I've had a couple people come in and say, hey, this is the cleanest store I've ever been in. One guy went up to Boston one time to visit his family, and he said he walked into the store and they had allowed, drinks and stuff to be brought into the store from the outside. And he said the place was a pig pen. And from my perspective, I am not cleaning up after everybody. If you want to do that for yourself, well, that's your responsibility. That's the thing that you're going to take on. So, if you want to sell hot dogs and grill hot dogs on a grill inside the store or hamburgers, that's all well and good. You got to get a food license to do that. But I'm very careful with what I let people bring into the store too. I don't let them bring in outside snacks and things like that because some people will bring a whole meal and then they'll throw the chicken carcass in the garbage unbeknownst to me, and it'll sit there for a couple of days, and all of a sudden it'll stink like hell, and this boy's got to clean it up. Well, I'm too old to be cleaning up after kids anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. So be careful what you offer in the store. Uh, you can offer variety. There's some things that maybe you like that the younger generation or other people don't like. So, listen to your customer, see what sells the most. I know right now Snapple sells well. All right, that's why I kid around with the Snapple caps facts. I know Fresca does exceptionally well. uh, Naturally, Monster, the variety drink and the regular Monster sell pretty good. And as far as candy's concerned, I sell a lot of trail mix snacks. I sell a whole bunch of goldfish little bags, and let me see what else does well. Nestle Crunch, Hershey bars for some reason doesn't sell well. Snickers sell well. But when you're first starting, you don't want to buy a box of 24 of each one of those things because they might sit on the shelf a long time and go out of expiration date and become stale. So if you go to Sam's or BJ's or Costco or something like that, they usually have a variety pack that you can buy that has maybe six of these, eight of these, especially when it gets to candy that you want to avail yourself to, and use that to start your store with. Now, another thing, and I've mentioned this before, make sure when you sign up at Costco or Sam's that you sign up for a business account. All you need is your tax ID and fill out the form. It's very simple. And then you could buy things tax free. So if you buy a case of Snapple, for instance, you don't have to pay tax on it at that store. But naturally, when you get it into your store and you sell it, you have to pay, or that person pays the tax, and then in turn you have to send it to the state, on a monthly basis, and so forth and so on. So that's what I would recommend. Starting slow and doing things in moderation. All right, well, that's enough for the topic of the day. Now, the three E's. Noah keeps laughing about this. The three E's to me are educate, enlighten, and entertain. Now, I came up with these Snapple Facts a couple of months ago, and I think Snapple Facts are kind of fun. And I've had some people mention that, hey, I look forward to the Snapple Fact each month. All right, so here's number one. Well, actually, it's one I'm going to give you today, but it's actually number 182 on the Snapple Facts website. A rainbow can only be seen in the morning or late afternoon. And I said to myself, I never knew that. Uh, so I did a little bit of the science about it. And I'm going to read this because it's too damn complicated for me to paraphrase it. Did you know that white light is composed of all colors? This includes red, orange, yellow, blue, green, violet, and indigo, along with ultraviolet and infrared colors. When a white light refracts and reflects through raindrops, it is divided into all visible colors to create a rainbow. Each color has a unique wavelength, going from red with the most significant wavelength, I can't even talk, wavelength, to violet with the smallest wavelength. This wavelength determines whether a color will go through the rainbow or be refracted back. The colors in the rainbow are also affected by the time of the day you see them. The best time for a rainbow to be seen is clearly early morning or afternoon, especially after a rainstorm. In these conditions, there is a large amount of water vapor in the atmosphere and low light levels. On the other hand, if it is the middle of the day, you are unlikely to see a rainbow, as most water vapor has likely evaporated, and it is much harder to hit the correct angle for a rainbow. You will likely only see small rainbows during the middle of the day. You will likely see a red rainbow rather than a multicolored one you would typically expect during sunrise and sunset. This is because during these times of day, the light has to travel further in the atmosphere, and often the shorter wavelengths, like violet and blue, have already been scattered. This means that only the longer wavelength colors, like orange, red and orange, are visible, creating a monochromatic rainbow. Now, I really have to sit down and read that again because it's a little bit, beyond my pay grade. I was never good in science, but it does make sense. And if you listen to that information, it's just a little bit fact that you can have, you know, at your next trivia event. All right, number 30. Let's see, 335. Um, Maine produces more toothpicks than any other state in the United States. That's an interesting fact. I would think Washington State or some place like Oregon that has a lot of hardwoods and stuff would be that. But according to the Snapple Facts, and I believe the Snapple Facts, just like I believe everything on the internet, not. Uh, so Maine is the producer of most toothpicks. Here's something that was interesting. This is Snapple Fact 343. The term 007 was derived from 20007, the home zip code of many Washington, D.C. agents. So it's not a British thing. 007 is just not James Bond. It derived itself from the Washington, D.C. agents, which is kind of interesting. I thought that was a pretty good Snapple fact. I know last week, let me get this paper. Let me see. These are things to be do these things today, be safer tomorrow. Um, all right, I'm going to just read one of these. I did one last week about auditing your wallet or purse. Another thing, if you have an iPhone, open your iPhone's contact list and add your family, friends, doctors, and other important numbers. Then go into the phone settings and turn on the setting for silence unknown callers. This will send any caller who isn't in your contact list directly to voicemail. Um, and I mentioned this before too about passwords. Every few months, revise your passwords or your financial accounts. Your best bet is to use a passphrase like "I love my 17 dog Z!" Exclamation point is much stronger than Scruffy 23. Keep track of passwords in a highly secure password manager or writing them down and storing them safely. That's what I do. I keep them in a safe at home because I can't remember. I have CRS, and CRS is analogous to me as I get older. It's actually CRS is can't remember shit, and that's what all it was. I'm surprised I didn't have a brain fart today because Noah usually has to prompt me along, but I think I'm doing pretty good on my own. But we'll see. If he likes it, he'll publish it. Especially, I'm sure he'll put it on Patreon for people. All right, so here's his call to action. This is the last part of it. Thank you for joining us this week on Card Shop Insiders. We are grateful for your support and listening. If you like the show, please like, subscribe, and follow us on all the different platforms. The podcast can now be found on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. You can follow us on social media at Card Shop Insiders on Instagram and X. I would appreciate it if you would get onto YouTube and subscribe and like us on YouTube because eventually we'd like to get monetized. It's you need 1,000 subscribers, so we have a long way to go, and you need I think it's 4,000 view hours, which is probably another thing we got a long way to go. But hey, Rome wasn't built in a day, and maybe someday we'll get there. Uh, let's get on to Patreons. we have a couple of good Patreons that support us: Ben, Grant, Brandon, Logan, Drayden, and Jake. Again, thank you so much. I'm serious. Thank you, for supporting our efforts. We appreciate it. Uh, Noah and I work on this every week, and I think we're doing a halfway decent job. We're getting the information out, maybe in a not most professional manner, but we are getting it out, and that's what counts. And we're having fun in doing it. But again, our Patreon people, we really appreciate your support, and I've mentioned that many times to you. And when you come into the store, I do appreciate your support and your support when you buy product from us too. And that's it's important. It helps keep the doors open. All right. Again, if you want to interact with the show or have any questions you would like to see covered in future episodes, as I mentioned earlier, please head over to YouTube and share a comment on the latest episode. Uh, and again, if you want to subscribe to Patreon and get behind the scenes, me uncut, unedited, uh, subscribe to Patreon. You don't even have to commit to a monthly a fee, because you could do it for free and that'll still get you in there. It would be nice if you helped us along financially, but we're okay. We're doing all right. But again, thanks guys. I appreciate it. Thank you again. I'll see you next week for more Behind the Counter. Shut this damn thing off now.